So no matter what, Evil is still have a foot in this game. They can still come back despite the 3,000 gold disadvantage.
Yep, I mean, after you can talk to me about the positioning of the crew on Evo, right? We know that in Game 1, Game 2, positioning is one of the core things. They have to deal with a heavy screen from LY4 again, and this is, I think, is really risky for them.
Yeah, but let's not forget that we do have Time Journey as well. So as long as Revival really tries to lock down the Evil, Carrot can go for a very defensive ultimate. And once he goes for ultimate, no one is going stopping Evil. They can just really rush down onto Revival. The only thing that is kind of like an irony or a contradiction is that when you're playing as a Diggy, the thing that you want to do is pop off the Time Journey and rush into the face of the opponents if you are using it as an aggressive Time Journey. But Melon playing as a Yves, imagine this. Having the Time Journey and then you are just there playing tic-tac-toe. I mean, it works. It definitely works because you are not going to be distracted. You are not going to be cancelled through your RWM. You're just going to keep whoever's in the grid. So you have to play exactly where you are.
I think Evil is doing a very good job of kiting out the rest of Revival. They're not allowing the Lord to be started at all. Probably waiting for JS ultimate cooldown before they try and engage this in a 5-on-5.
Well, it's kind of tough for me to even have a bias as to who has a better lineup, right? Revival, they have a lineup that can play in a very in a split push manner, but they technically wouldn't want to do that as well, right? Because when it comes down to Uranus, you can play split, but you have an Estes onto your side too. So if you want, you can actually play with your team. You should technically play with your team. But it's also a contradiction because Evil, they have heroes that can do a very good job in skirmishes and clashes. So even I myself don't quite have an answer for both Revival and Evil. What exactly is the thing that they should be looking out for? The objectives may very well be the answer.
That's right. I mean, based on what we were talking about earlier today, right? We won't be able to see how much of the draft will work out until we take a look at the execution of both teams. And so far, it looks pretty clean, right? No big mistakes from either team. Hence, we only had our first blood 8 minutes in. It's still 1-0 at this point. But I think it could be swinging in Revival's favor soon.
This is not the kind of game that I am used to, actually. Especially when it comes down to Singapore meta, we have a lot of mindless killings. But for both of these teams, Revival and Evil, there's not a lot of mindless killings. In fact, we don't even have much killings. But maybe now we should be able to see a bit more killing as Melon HP drops all the way down low.
Yep, Sword gonna push him away as the Lord is falling low as well. Heavy spin committed and looks like they do get the Lord. And now this is the time for Revival to back off. But they are so low on the side of Evil. What's happening? JS is looking at all 5 members in the face, but the heal comes out. Immersion is gonna help survive the team on the side of Revival. And this is, I mean, so much action and we just got 1 kill.
Just 1 kill, right? The Blessing of the Moonlight Goddess coming in from a Revival definitely helped them to a certain extent to extend their life force just a bit longer. Just trying to play a little bit like a squeaky mouse. He wanted to go in and snipe off someone. I think he wanted to snipe Peace off, but it did not work out for him. He's going to lose his head, and JS is, well, not going to be present to deter the Lord.
Yeah, Revival's lineup is pretty scary because it amplifies every single mistake you have. And with that, the real world manipulation could be dropped down to slow down the push from the Lord. And it looks like this defense is going to be successful.
Yep, at least for now, right? Revival, they do have the Uranus just pushing up to the top lane. The second tier defense turret is definitely going to go down. But no one can defend this middle lane turret as well. What is going to be working out for them is going to be the fact that their inhibitor turret will be gonna be a-okay. Evil, they do have high ground. Revival, they do have high ground as well. Both teams have good defensive capabilities thanks to Sicilian as well as Yip respectively. They both can clear creep waves. They both can zone people out. In fact, their win condition is very similar. It's almost like a mirror. It's just that the only difference is they have different heroes.
Yep. LY4, I think going into the next fight, he's going to be trying to look for Carrot, try to get Carrot away. You see how well that fight was done when Carrot is unable to use the Time Journey. He got the heavy spin off and just really wrecked the team of Evil. So I think he will be looking to replicate that.
LY4 as well as Riot, they are undoubtedly going to be pretty darn tanky. Coconut should not have a Demon Hunter sword by now. I believe he should not have it. So the only one that can really deal with these tanky heroes is going to be Powerful. But Evil, knowing how they play, they should be kind of like a death ball. The way they play should be a death ball. They will want to send Powerful over to the backline to deal with, to deal with the backlines. JS can deal with the backlines as well, but they can also have a pretty strong control in the front lines thanks to Coconut as well as Melon. The main thing is that they need to keep Coconut and Melon in a right spot, ensuring that they are always safe and dealing damage onto the front lines. And if they are able to catch up QDX Love, the better it is.
No, I mean, QDX Love, like you mentioned, will be the prime target, right? And of course, on the side of Revival, like you said, protecting Carrot and Melon is the two most important objectives on the side of Evil. And we know how Melon is playing in the previous game 2. Melon was just
He's mostly just playing around, I would say. He really just playing around and not wanting to do much. He doesn't really want to go and overextend himself in most situations because his position is very important. RWM is very important for the survival of Coconut as well. Yep. Otherwise, if they don't have RWM, they're gonna work with Time Journey.
And looks like they will get the Lord started. The Lord dance is happening already for the side of Revival, and you can see they are trying to play around the wave management as well. Uranus is going to be looking down the mid lane. Wow, LY4 and the rest of the team, they will get this Lord underway. Already down to 24,000 in health as Ryan looking at the back line. He's going to try and bait out as many skills as possible. His heal comes in. He's going to try and catch the rest of the back line of Evil. No. And here we go. They are pushing them out, but they're not going to commit for this. They need the Lord. The Lord is more important at this point as the Moonlight Immersion gonna come in. They do get it, but the kill comes in as Sword is so low. He's being chased down. They do get the kill, but the heavy spin is committed as well. Can they get this and win the fight on the side of Revival? This is the marker for the victory as JS gonna be forced to back away. He's super low as well. He does have access to immortality, but with that, Revival losing 1 for the Lord.
Hey, the fact that they managed to kill Swirl is quite something already. Now, for Evil, there is quite a lot of things that happened in the team fight, right? I really enjoyed to see Carrot just flickering away and reserving the time journey for aggressive purposes. But the time journey kind of seems a little bit slow, per se. The rest of the Evil really wanted to go all out aggressive right before the time journey pops. But they only started to be super aggressive once the time journey popped. You know, one is before, one is after the time journey. So Evil, they still gonna have to work down more on their momentum. They're gonna have to work onto their communications as well, when it's gonna be the perfect time for them to spring into action.
No time journey available for Evil, so they definitely know what's going on the side of Revival. They can push the anti. Alright, it is gonna be just up for the side of Carrot, so now Revival, they have to be very careful.
Well, unfortunately for Evil, they don't have an endless skilling hero, while Revival has. That is going to be the Sicilian. Let's not forget, Evil, their lineup is very squishy. So if you allow Swirl to go into endgame state, then you're just gonna be melted down by the bad impact. You can definitely skill in the late stages with Coconut as well as, Powerful, JS, they all have great amount of damage, but only Coconut skills very well over to the later stages of the game. While Revival, you have a very tanky, sustainable late gamer in the name of Uranus. You also does have Swirl that plays as the Sicilian, which I have mentioned before.
Yep, I think at this point, Revival is just simple wave management for them, right? But, you know, Abstract, let's talk about Evil. I think they have a lot of things to go up against. There's many things they need to consider. They need to take care of Ryan and QDX Love on the heals. And while that is happening, they have to deal with Sword as well as Kisu dealing damage all the way.
Now, actually, the thing is, Evil, they don't really need to care so much about QDX Love's healing. Because for them, they have an abundance of damage. What they would want to do is that they call out someone, call that person out, and everyone tackle him. That healing from the Blessing of the Moonlight Goddess wouldn't even be able to catch up to amount of damage. And you can't, and you would end up forcing QDX Love to expend the ultimate just to heal one person. And that is the game plan for Evil. You have to identify who you would want to kill first. And then everyone swoop in and do what you need to. But so far, Evil, they have been distributing the damage all across the place. They have been distributing and understanding, okay, we gotta take this person down, we gotta take that person down. In my opinion, if I am playing as Evil, if I'm playing in Evil's eyes, the main person I want to bring down is gonna be Swirl. Swirl has got endless potential in a team fight and endless skilling. So bringing Swirl down, slows his scaling down, and also effectively eliminating a huge chunk of damage dealt.
Yeah, Sword, I think you can see the positioning, gonna miss the Sanguine Claw here, but he has his eyes on Carrot. He wants to get rid of Carrot before this whole fight starts. So they want to make sure that LY4 has as little mental stress as possible. You can see the way they're positioning so far. Carrot just showing himself, while the rest of Evil, they're gonna secure the positions on the brushes around. It's falling a bit low already. The Lord already down to half health, as Ryan gonna keep his eyes on Melon as well as Jay, as they know they need to get rid of Melon, make sure that nothing is available on the side of Evil. And you can see Powerful already setting up in this side, and Revival going to be very patient with this.
Evil, they don't really have a proper way to engage. They don't really have a very good idea how they will want to bring Swirl down, especially since Ryan is right in their faces, up their nose, and just causing them all forms of nosebleed. The Lord has already found himself at 20,000 health, and Evil, they are keeping their eye out. Powerful is hiding in the jungle. As he slowly twirls his blade, no one knows that he's in there right now. Until now, he showed himself a bit.
Yeah, we are gonna try and be a bit more careful on the side of Revival. They want to make sure that moment that they can jump, right? Waiting for the whole side of Evil to group up for sure. And Melon is falling a bit low, but here we go. If they're gonna get another catch on Melon, he's probably dead. As another miss, but he has to back off at this point. There is not enough sustain on the end. Ryan is going to try and provide the cover. They do get the Lord, and this is going to be a very quiet push from Revival.
Yeah, the high ground from a Revival is so strong, right? Looking at Swirl, his item has already been maxed out. He's got the Divine Glaive, Lightning Truncheon, Tome of Wisdom, and to add, well, Salt into Wound, it does have himself the Ice Queen's Wand in order to continue more damage from one bad impact to another. Arkai as well as Uranus, they are all maxed out in items. Super tanky, super stacked up. But for some reason, the Clint is not maxed item just yet. Only has an Endless Battle, Blade of Despair, a Malefic Roar, as well as a Scarlet Phantom. In the meantime, Evil, some of these players doesn't have max item just yet. Take a look at the Aerithal. Not exactly unlocked.
Yep, it's gonna be trouble after trouble for Evil, because down here the Lord is marching down onto the bottom lane. This is the time that Revival wants to make a play. LY4 looking at the front lines, he's gonna stand, he has his immortality, he's not worried about dying at all. And a nice kill by Sword to start things off, and this is looking like a lost cause for the side of Evil, because the base is going down and nothing is gonna save them, because Evil will get crushed by Revival, bringing this to a 2-1 scoreline.
Oh boy, Evil! Oh man, okay. So, they technically speaking have a composition that can actually draft themselves into the early stages of the game, but that is not exactly something that they managed to play out very well. In fact, they gave Revival the early game with a couple of objectives, and they just kind of like not being able to snowball, they're not able to catch themselves onto the curve, where Revival dictates the curve. How Evil should play, how much economy Evil should have, and Revival is just hanging above Evil just by a tiny little bit. And because of all of that tempo that Revival has gotten for them, Sicilian gained out of control, got the damage, and in a single strike of the bad impact is more than enough to put Powerful in his place. And looks like this all-strike composition coming in from Evil didn't work out this time because of execution.
Yep, so Scrubby Cheeks, give us the lowdown on what you think went wrong for Evo in this game.
It's a hard game to watch. It is a hard game to watch. I think Abstract, you're right, some of this comes down to the execution, but I will say that I think half the battle was also lost in the drafting phase for Evo. So it felt to me like a game of forced errors. You know, they picked up the SS in the first phase, and immediately in the second phase, they banned out the Baxia, So no anti-heal available on the side of Evil. Evil did not have an answer to this sustain that went on for Revival. And then, in the second phase, Revival picked up Uranus as well. So you just have a composition that does not die. And so that forces JS, because we know in the previous games, JS has been playing, he managed to have a dominant stand because he dominates his lane and then he rotates to the other lanes to put pressure. In this case, Uranus kept up with him and he couldn't do the same. Looking at the items here, I mean, you talked about it earlier, Abstract, as well.
Oh my god.
They didn't have, I think, a lot of defense on the side of Evil as well. So Powerful, instead of opting for that tanky build, he went for damage. So you could see in the last fight, you know, immediately just busted down by Swope.
Remember how I talked about the fact that I was hoping to see JS actually picking up Dominus Ice? Yeah, he didn't.
Yeah, there's actually no Dominus
No
Ice.
Dominus Ice. So the only way that you can stop QDX Love from healing and Ryan from healing is if Melon touched
The
them.
NOD, yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, in some of these fights, I think in the last lot fight as well, Melon didn't even put up the real world manipulation.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, I'm really not sure why there was not a single Dom Ice in their kit, even though they didn't have the heroes for that.
It's a bummer. That's all I can say. It's really a bummer. I think that for the side of Evil, they was hoping that, oh, you know, we can pick up the Dominus Ice into the later stages of the game. But I think that the later stages of the game was already over. They don't really quite have that advantage. They didn't really quite have the proper timing to bring that on. They don't have all the farm that they wanted to have for the entirety of the game. This is a 22 minutes game, right? 4 kills for Revival and 1 kill for Evil. This is really a kill-deprived game, right? And like I said, I'm not used to this. There's a lot of senseless killings in most of the games that we've seen, and some of these kills, it may mean something, but most of the time it would not. Both for Revival and Evil, they make every death count. And I'm not used to that!
Yeah, it's really clean, right? Scrubby Cheeks. I mean, if you take a look at Sword and QDX Love, just the whole lineup of Revival, I think there's too many options for Evil to consider. And that was kind of the breaking point for them.
I think, yeah, it was that, and also not just one breaking point. To me, it was like this game was a block that Revival slowly chipped away at, and on top of the block sits 2 candles. You know those candles where you blow it out and they reignite themselves? Those are the 2 candles that sit on
those
that block.
sparkler candles kind of thing.
Let's look at the MVP coming from the side of Revival. Again, it is Peace. Kill participation of 75%. Didn't die a single time, and of course, I'm not sure if he actually sold something or he's just missing an item to complete his build, but I mean, he had all the things he needed in his kit to be able to dish out the damage, and not to mention the healing coming from QDX Love as well.
Well, we'll assume that he didn't have the money. Maybe, maybe. I'm not too sure, but I'm assuming that maybe he just doesn't really quite have the money, because let's be honest, Sicilian is the one that is the money hogger. He literally broke into a bank, took every single money sack all for himself, and be like, none for you guys. You guys just go in front and fend off the cops for me. That is exactly what Uranus as well as the Akai did. Just fend off the cops, and I'm just here enjoying my popcorn.
Yeah, honestly, it's difficult, right? Because LY4 and the rest of the team from Revival is so tanky. So you really need to try to target Peace as well as Swirl. But it is so difficult to get to them in the backline. Let's see exactly what went on in that game again. We have the highlights ready for us. This is the Lord, I think, where the first blood again fell. You can see that initially, you know, Evil could fight it, but unfortunately went down as first blood. 1 man short, they had to give up the turtle in this case. In this Lord fight here, you can see LY4 actually popping the heavy spin, not to take the objective, but to zone out the rest of the members of Evil. And from there, it was just, you know, tough for them to fight. JS did what he could, but it was pretty much over by then. And I think it just continued for the rest of the fights, right? Look at QDX Love just healing up Ryan in the front line. It's causing so much disruption. The time journey is a one-off skill. So the moment you pop it, you cannot you cannot go back into the fight, as opposed to the constant healing that comes from QDX Love. And this is where Powerful just gets absolutely melted down, and Revival finishes the game from here.
Well, unfortunately, both sides, they have their defensive option, and you see from the second last clip, it was an Estes pop off the Blessing of the Moonlight Goddess. All of his teammates popped off the sprint. No one could properly deal proper damage over to them, and even if they could, it is really just chips over to their armor, and the armor magically regenerates.
Yep, exactly. And they had Immortality, which is, okay, round 2.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Revival's draft was also skilled for the late game.
Yes.
So not only did they put down Evil in the early game, they also had natural late game advantage. And I think this just made Evil's life so difficult from the beginning to the end. Let's hear it behind the scenes from Cheryl on what went down. Cheryl, take it away.
It's absolutely amazing. Now, this is the second win in a row for Revival. You guys are absolutely on fire. Now, I have right here with me Swirled from Revival. Say hi.
Hello, guys.
Fantastic. We do have some burning questions for them, especially right now. They are on a roll, so we're very excited. Now, Swirled, was the team worried when Evil showed some signs of life in Game 1?
Definitely there is some where we are quite worried after the game 1 because we didn't expect them to came back even after being defeated so badly. But this proved that they definitely have some fighting spirit in them. Yeah, so we cannot let our guards down.
Yes, definitely. And with regards to MPL SG in general, we can never rest on our laurels, right? Anything can happen. And of course, signs of life were extremely unprecedented, so that's really exciting. Now, the second question, how did Revival feel about being heavily slammed by the Valentina?
Valentina took the Akai ulti. It was quite an issue for us, so because it denied our objective takes when we try to help our team, but the Akai is just spinning out, so it's quite hard. So it's like if our team have Akai, but their team also have Akai, so it's quite annoying to fight with.
Right, so when it came to that leak in terms of banning, is this something that you guys anticipated, especially picking the Akai?
Yeah, so we purposely give them the Valentina because we know that they're gonna pick it because we have a game plan in mind already. So it was all planned. Just that when the Valentina took the Akai ulti, it was a bit of an issue, but our early game still go as according to plan.
Right, so it's anticipated that you guys leaked the Valentina over to
Yeah.
them. Ah, interesting. All right, so what do you think was the reason that Revival did not take Game 2?
Because I feel that we used the same draft again. Then we tried to win them using the same draft because our mind was like, okay, 2-0, then we go home sleep. It's like get a quick game lah. But so at that point of time we let our guards down. So they took one game from us. So our third game we more focus in a sense.
You guys regrouped and really re-strategized everything. Yep. Right. So then, how did Revival reset in Game 3 and following taking the series?
So we have a lot of game plan, different draft. So we decided to try a different draft, which we are much more comfortable with. And indeed, it paid off. So early game, we still managed to get a lead while our team comp is supposed to be lacking in the early game. So that's a good thing. So when it comes to the late game, we already know that the game is ours already.
Yes, Sicilian was absolutely stacked by then, so that was wonderful. And the final question, what are your thoughts on the rest of the matches for Revival in the regular season now that you guys are on a roll?
So at the start of the regular season, we fought, I will feel, two of the strongest team already. So there's one big hurdle. So after that, going forward, we are gonna go try to get as much win as we can. Try to build our momentum right now and go strong for playoff.
All right, wishing you guys the best of luck. You guys did amazing. Thank you so much, Swirl.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Alrighty, so friends, thank you for sticking around right here with us. Now, our next match will be Team Flash versus Stellark. That'll be happening later on at 1 p.m., so stick around and we'll see you then.
there are some quarrels here and there. And, I don't know how it's going to turn out. You cannot just look on the surface of other teams and try to figure out whether they got any internal conflicts of their own.
What do you feel about this current jungler role that you're filling up, especially taking over jobs?
Yeah, like what Adam said, I think he decided to go on a more
Step by step.
Yeah, slowly first. Go down one step. Maybe learn a bit first, then maybe he can come back with us. Yeah.
So you're still looking forward to Jock's return so that you can go back to the XP lane?
Yeah, then I can retire.
Who do you think is the weakest team? Okay, this time I'll just say team, right? I won't say player.
I think SMG because they last minute get their members,
Yeah, that's true.
like last one week before MPL qualifiers. Then they have 1 more week to train for MPL.
Yeah. Do you think that's enough time? 1 week?
I'm not so sure unless they play a lot play a lot together and build up chemistry. Yeah.
It looked good on paper, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it look good on paper. Like everyone have their own strength, but it's whether need to see how whether they can execute it as a team.
Among the whole, okay, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, right? On your mage skill level, what do you think? Where do you think you place? Like 1 being the highest and 10 being the lowest.
If I had to humble myself, I'll put 5.
5, like a just pass.
Yeah, because this is technically my first season as well. So when it comes to first season wise, definitely we'll have some issues also because you're quite fresh to the scene as well.
Anything that you want to say to the fans of Zion Esports?
Hope you guys continue to support us, even though we changed our roster and only me and Supergirl left.
Sadly.
I mean, you still have Potato.
Potato as a coach.
Yeah.
The best coach in SG.
My heart.
In Potato we trust.
Hopefully we can bring you the glory that we didn't manage to get last season. We're all aiming for the same thing, so you can look forward to our new roster.
There are quite a lot of people. They just go into the game and play how they usually would. Just muscle memory, just all the experience. Doesn't really need a lot of strategy, those kind of stuff. Are you the kind of team also?
Maybe if we are going by the book, maybe we put out some pocket picks, pocket strategy.
Okay, so they have pocket picks, they have hidden
Nisita?
picks. I don't know.
Nisita?
We will dig a bit further off cam.
Wait and find out.
We will dig a bit off cam.
I am Optimus Prime.
No one can outrun Bumblebee!